Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to this Citizens Mind, a civic innovation program by Mind Initiative. And today we have in the studio Prince Israel Orekai, and he will be talking about the 2023 general elections and as it relates to the not too young to run bill. And my name is Igbon Blessing, and I'll be your anchor for this program. Prince Israel Orekai is the Executive Director of Connected Advocacy, and he is also the coordinator of the Not Too Young to Run movement in Edo State. Prince Israel, you're welcome.
A very good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to my listeners out there.
So, Prince Israel, who is Prince Israel to the general public?
Prince Israel is the voice for the excluded,
Okay.
passionate about community interventions circled around inclusion, and just want to see policies work in the sense that we are in a system where policies hardly work. Here is assigned every day by the Nigerian government, and but the workability of these policies is also a challenge, and this is what I want to see work. So when you see Precision Oreka, is a young man who wants the system to work. Because the system work, Accountant General will not steal 80 billion naira, our collective wealth, just for one pocket. So I want a system that works, a Nigeria that's actually the giant of Africa. Yes.
Speaking on that, a Nigeria that is truly the giant of Africa, one that works.
Yeah.
So, Prince Israel, will you say that if what are the components of what are the things that actually make a system work?
Yeah, the system works is one if there is a true political will, where the government is really sincere to actions. When the government, when they do more on work than talk, yeah, then you say system is working. Where everybody that is working patriotically for the good of all, not for me, myself, my religion, my brother, my sister, my girlfriend, my wife, my children. So if it's collectively done, we will see the development collectively as a country. So we want a political will, a leader that actually wants to walk the talk, not just the talk.
A leader that wants to walk the talk and not just talk the talk.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we look at the Not Too Young to Run movement, I think that was one of the things that was that actually drove that movement, that made people, young persons, clamor that, okay, so we need a system that works, one where young persons are included, and one where young persons get to show their strength at leadership. So tell us more about what was the Not Too Young to Run bill and what was the movement all about?
The movement actually came to bear, to physical bear, by two comrades, Cynthia Mbamalo and Samson Todo. They are actually young people. They looked at this space and see that there is a lacuna in the sense that as long as you are 35 below, you cannot vie for any political position. But this talk has been at the corridors of young people before now, but it was not organized. So they thought it twice and see, okay, how do we get this truly done? Just as I say, it's not only about talk, but it's all about action. So Not Too Young to Run come to be as a result of organized community organizing movement that brought together young minds across the 36 states and the FCT to see how do we strategize to actually build a movement that works, understanding the issue that cuts across every one of us. are in the 36 states. So that was what brought us together at AES Luxury Apartment, where we begin to draw a map of how these issues can actually be tackled. We now saw some hurdles. What are the hurdles? For that bill to be repealed, he needs 24 state houses of assembly to assent to the bill first before the national can say, okay, it's good to go. Because any constitutional amendment needs 24 states as assembly to actually pass this. So that means local groups from the subnational needs to take action.
Yes.
Action in the sense that they need to get their constituents, their local constituents, engaged, sensitized, brings to their consciousness the need for inclusivity. So here, the action was drafted through an organized understanding the issue now, which I said young people were not allowed to vote. Then now more young people needs to begin to speak to build consciousness, capacity around this issue. So 24 states needs to take this action before it can really be passed. So the ball now was driven from Abuja to the subnational. So that is why where all the state coordinators went back to the drawing board. How can we actually influence our state houses of assembly to pass this bill since it requires 24 states? So the work was actually in the 24 states. Because if the 24 states did not survive it, I think the bill at the center wouldn't have worked. So young people across the 36 states of Nigeria begins to work, engaging media, then with technical support from YIAGA and NDI, and engaging media, then roadshow, capacity building, then advocacy visit, why the Houses of Assembly needs to pass the bill. Then another issue comes, information. How many persons actually, they said, what is not too young to run? How does not too young to run stop you people? So information building and sharing, knowledge exchange comes in. So with the help of this knowledge exchange, we now begin to even get them enlightened that there is this issue and young people are clamoring for an amendment. So this amendment actually was what now begin to say, okay, you people, this is what you people want. So series of advocacy visit, many a times we now begin to lobby each of the lawmakers. I'm using this case study of Edo now. Okay. Yeah. Why first understanding the issue that we identify and why they could support it. So that came in. We now begin to lobby them with the help of the majority leader then, I think Honorable Asoro. He said, oh, you guys have been coming here all the time. What is the problem? So he gave us a listening ear. Then the speaker was, I think I can still remember it now. The speaker then, during Asoro, before we finish, I'll recall. Yeah. He now said, okay, don't worry, I'll take the message to the speaker. Yeah. So that is how information was now building. Then also I had to make friends with the clerk of the house to make sure that that bill enters the agenda. Yeah. First time it enters in the morning, it was removed. I track it again, it was removed. So consistently like that until the last day, because there was a stipulated time for each house of assembly to get it passed. So luckily it was not added and it was passed. This did not actually happen. It was a collective effort for young people. Though some young persons did not believe in it because they will ask you first question, which is the trouble we need to also answer now, is what is in it for me? If that what is in it for me is not defined, no young people wants to follow you. So that was the challenge we had, mobilizing young people to actually believe in the cause. So the first answer they will ask you, what is in it for me? What am I going to benefit? How will it benefit me now, the immediate? I said, It actually gives you room for you guys to participate. Say, what does it have? Measure it in monetary terms. So that we could not answer because it was a voluntary effort
Yeah.
just for the country. So to see that we have a country that actually inclusive. So some few team actually joined. They supported. I think Peter was one of the people who joined. Sammy and other young guys. They put in effort to support the bill. After that, the second walk, yeah. So getting to young people participating, I think that is now the issue. That first order has been crossed. I think young people still have the yam and they have the knife.
Yeah.
I hope they will be able to use it. But my fear still is the strategy of poverty. I was on a national discussion this morning with the UNDP, trying to get inclusions for young people, what they want for a sustainable environment as a country. But the things still return back. Young people have the knife, young people have the yam. But how they use it, how they share it,
it's totally left to them.
yes. So the ball still comes back to us. Community organizing again, I think, is the key. We form about 70% of the population, if I'm not mistaken, but we are not organized. We are divided with religion, we are divided with our stomach, we are divided with our family, we are divided with our connections. So as long as this remains, I am afraid the future for young people truly getting involved is blink. Getting to the form you made mention of, the 100 million currently, before we agitate for it, that too much resources has been earmarked for purchase of forms. Yes, it was earmarked before. They said, okay, they slashed it to 50%, disability people free. But the question I keep asking is, because we still did not organize, if every young person put together 1,000 naira, we will raise more than 100 million for the form. But we are not speaking with one voice because we are hungry. Yeah. In as much as we are hungry, the political class will still continue to use that strategy on us, the strategy of poverty. So when you see money, you begin to speak, you're observing table manners. So as long as you are observing table manners, you cannot speak against the issues because you are benefiting from it, you are eating. Have you ever seen somebody on the table eating,
with their
talking?
mouth full? No.
So if you're observing table manners, so most of the youth that are supposed to be speaking are currently observing table manners. So community organizing will still end the show. If we are tired, I don't think young people are tired yet. We really want to say we are tired. We can chase any government. We can change any government. We determine every government. So it's young people that determine every government. So this you cannot take from young people. This the politicians also understand. So they continue to allow us to hungry. They continue to close the civic space that you guys are trying to let's see how we expand. The space is closed there. Economically, it's closed for young people. So for you to come to the table of decision, you must bring something to the table. So young people have something you bring to the table. So you must develop first capacity, another character. So another now my challenge. There was one I was currently encouraging a young person. I said, okay, as you continue in this direction, fine. He picked a membership card, become a member of the APC. I was really happy. Anytime I travel to Abuja, I make sure I visit him to just encourage him. But when I wanted to do like a live broadcast for him, for more young people to see, there is one person who has stood up. He wants to close this gap. I said, it's time for young people to actually come out. His first statement that broke my heart was, I'm not for only the youth. Don't say I'm a youth. And he's following the tune of the political class.
Wow.
Any system that wants to work must not on this same political system. It must come from the grassroots. And it must be rallied around by young people. This is a call to action. If we really want to make it work. I remember I told you, we have the knife. Where the
Yeah,
yam?
the
I was heartbroken. He said, no, I'm not supporting any young people. My government will be for the young people, the old people, and everybody. And the more emphasis even with the elderly. I said, man, come on.
So are you saying now that if we actually want to succeed as young persons, we have to go aggressively all out to get what we actually desire? And
Okay,
another
okay,
thing
continue.
is, how ready is the Nigerian politics to actually have a young person vie for the position of the presidency of this country?
Have you heard that power is not giving, power is taking?
Yes, very well. I've heard
You've
it.
heard of it. So we have what it takes to take power, not even by violence. It's so saddening that currently we don't have institutions that works, that actually have been nurturing these young minds to be productive towards aspiring for position and getting it. Because first, the process that brings any leader to power is not transparent.
Mm.
So that's why the system still remains. Because as long as it's benefiting the few that is holding the power, they will keep on holding on to it. So as you said, power is not what? It's not giving,
Given is
it's
taking.
taking. But it's taking with a strategic organizing. It's not by violence, because violence has never helped any issue.
Very true.
If young people actually are serious, they have brain, they have energy, they have the internet. Can we just speak with one voice for once? This we have never done. We wanted to try it during the NSAS. It was still the young people that foiled it. It was still the young people that started looting, started stealing, started raping, started doing all sorts of
Oh, yeah.
things. And we lost that chance to actually speak with one voice. Now, if you want to go in again, we still need young people who actually, let's speak with one voice. Not by violence, but strategically organized, both the north, the south, the west, and the east.
So it means that we need to all speak as young persons
Yes,
with a
yes,
voice. But
yes.
do you know another thing is that the Nigerian politics does not allow independent candidacy, and so it means that any young person who wants to vie for any position needs to do that using a political platform. And do you think that that political platform, looking at the way primaries are conducted in
Yeah,
Nigeria,
yeah.
do you think that any young person will actually emerge from those primaries?
Young persons can actually emerge if they want to emerge.
Okay.
But first, ask the young person, why is he doing what he's doing? Is it really wants to lead?
Mm.
Prepare to lead is a thing that I initiated long ago. That if young people put all their resources in one table, there is not only PDP and APC that we have as a political party, isn't it?
True.
We could brand a new party.
We have 18 political
We
parties right
have
now.
18 political parties, wonderful. And in the look of things now, a new party, a new merger will emerge now from those 18 parties where resources and energy is going to be deployed. Very soon, maybe after the primaries or before the primaries, you'll see. So a new party, there is a new existing party now will be
Yeah.
raising shoulder with these two bigger ones. So young people, this is what, it's not what we would have just done. We're already in the eve of election now. Taking over power by young people is going to be in the require planning.
Planet.
It's
Okay.
not just on the eve, you see one person comes out, want to make noise. How many local structures do you have to yourself? How many persons what ideology are you promoting? Nigerian political system does not have ideology. They only have manifesto without clear visions.
Mm.
I'm talking here because I'm just trying to talk from the bottom of my heart because they don't have ideology. So I cannot hold any party. This is what they stand for. They don't stand for anything. Because if you look at those campaign manifestos that APC gave us in 2015, did you see anyone came to light? The four cardinal point was to revive the economy, fight insecurity, create jobs, and I don't know the other one he called it again. But I have not seen any. I'm still waiting to see. that actually touched the common man at the grassroots.
Maybe one of such was the trader money.
Trader money. How was the trader
And
money?
the farmer money.
How many farmer money? Wasn't all briefcase farmers that enjoyed that money?
So we have the ones that are called briefcase
How
farmers.
many of them? Because I know I'm connected to my village people. I did not know how many of them that actually benefited. But I know people benefited. But most of the people that benefited from those money, they either belongs to a political party.
Or have some political weight.
No. They either belong to a political party or connected to who is disbursing those resources. So it's as sweet as Nigeria.
So you're saying that once there's a corrupt practice in the system and it's of some benefits to persons who were supposed to be the ones fixing this corruption, and because it's benefiting them, they wouldn't want to fix it because they discover that after fixing, they won't be able to enjoy certain privileges that they actually enjoyed while such corruption was on.
Yes, that's why you must answer the question why.
Why?
Any political a gladiator or political candidate or a governor or a president or a senator, you ask the first question, why? Why is he actually vying for power? Most of them took loans to buy our consciousness through the vote buying angle. Why are you running? Deep down your heart, tell us why you are running. If you put an X-ray, you find out that, man, everybody you see there running, they're actually running for power. Because after God is government for power. And once you're in government, the constitution, you can do it. Nigerian government, when I say anything I'm saying here is applicable to the Nigerian system. So, because if you want to equate it with the outside world, it's totally different because almost systems run here are opposite of what is obtainable even in the Western world that they visit very often. So, why are they running? They are running because of power. They're actually running for safe. That immunity clause. Imagine they were extraying today the Abacha loot. That the current person that was instrumental to those Abacha loot is currently a governor. So now you cannot touch him because there is an immunity on him. And before his tenure runs out, another issue has come up because every week Nigeria gives us an issue to ponder on. Why the main problem still remains. So next week they will cover a new issue. Then everybody now, that is what we'll be commenting. They call it trending
issues.
Yes. So every week, Nigeria system give us something to always engage us, to leave the main issue behind. Nigeria is supposed to be a very great country.
And I'm sure we're going to make it great because we're working towards that very soon. And so now we've looked at youth political participation. We've looked at how persons who should vie for office. We have checked that we should know the why these persons are vying for office. So as the 2023 elections build up, we should check every candidate that presents himself or herself and check that, okay, so the why these persons, the reasons behind these persons contesting is something that aligns with the general public, especially young persons, because we're looking at our future. Sure. So now, if you look at youth political participation, now aside getting them to join political parties and all of the others, what would you also advise that they do? Because yesterday I had a discussion with someone, just a random person in a vehicle, and he said, he was tired of the Nigerian situation and that if he has the opportunity, he would leave the country. And so I asked him, which of the Nigerian situation are you tired of? Because the Nigerian situation is so lot. And then he made mention of leadership, especially because leadership tends to be able to give direction to its people. So I said, okay, fine. When was the last time you actually participated in the voting process? And he told me, quite frankly, that he didn't even have a voter's card. And I was like, oh, so you do not have a voter's card? How old are you? And he made mention that he was 35 years old. And I wondered, and I said, so since you became 18 years and now you're 35, you've never voted once? And he said, no, he wouldn't waste his time doing that. And I said, oh, so you're one of our problems actually in this country. So please, was I right when I told him that he was one of our problems in this country?
Half right.
Okay.
Half right. Because in the sense, you've done a great job by at least awakening her consciousness or his consciousness on the need for him to have the PVC. Yeah. Maybe we look forward to this new electoral act that's currently being passed, where some form of technologies will be allowed. Yeah, so I think the level of ringing now will be minimal or totally eradicated.
Yes.
I pray. Many persons actually got frustrated from the system in the sense that when this act or when the system is not current, it's not working. Imagine when they observe that somebody is thumbprinting at the back of their houses. Even those who are stressing at the field, they don't count those votes.
Imagine.
So, but because of the new electoral act that has been passed now, by seeing it working now, why for this few time, I also hope the INEC makes this new electoral act work by actually using technology that is not altered. If the people's votes are guaranteed that they will count, and there is more sensitization to that effect, to guarantee the public that votes count, you surely see them count. That's why part of what we are doing with Connected Advocacy and yearly we develop a project called Go Register. That because we foreseen that this time is going to work. Go register because your vote is actually your power. So if all the young persons, I think young persons currently are still leading in the voting in the PVC drive currently across the country. Yeah. So if more young persons, just as you've talked to that one, we are ready now. We encourage them now to go and vote. Because before, most young persons are discouraged that their votes will not count. So this is one thing that INEC need to prove to them now, that this time it will be a different ball game, that their vote will count. So that's why some person were making a joke that if Malami can buy a form, and the man at CBN can also go and buy a form, and the man printing the electoral ballot, the meeting and press is also bought a form. So from the CBN. So when will Mahmoud buy his own form? Because they are just using Nigeria to play pranks. So INEC too need to prove to us this time. I know they've been working, but this time they should actually really give hope to this common man that their votes will count. Then if they could justify this, because many did not believe that their vote will count. So that is why she wasting that rigorous time, the processes to go get that card. They found out that it doesn't work because they think their votes don't count. So INEC, that is the ball for INEC to try to prove these people now wrong. So we continue to support INEC to see that young people go get their PVC so that they can actually make informed decisions for their country. It's all about us, and it's for us all. So let's see how I make it work this time.
So it's about us and it's for us all to make it work.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prince Israel. You have done justice to this discussion today, and I hope that our viewers have actually enjoyed the time we have spent with Prince Israel, who is the Executive Director of Connected Advocacy and also the coordinator of the Not Too Young to Run movement in Edo State. Thank you so much, Prince Israel, for honoring this invitation. We're extremely happy to have you. And we pray that we will have a Nigeria that actually works and have young persons take up the position of leadership.
Yes, if we are ready.
Yes, and I'm sure very many young persons are ready to take up leadership positions right now.
I look forward
You,
to that.
for example, we look up to you to take up the form very soon and declare to run.
No, I will encourage more young people. I'm good at the background. I'm good in organizing.
Okay,
I'm
so
good in movement. So if we have serious young persons who want to run, I can volunteer my time to deploy strategy.
you see, and that's what we as young persons should understand,
I mean, not
that
necessarily be the
everybody
governor.
has a place where they can function properly. And I'm happy that you know the place you can function. And for you young persons who have decided to take up leadership as it is and vie for any of the elective positions, Prince Israel has shown that he is ready to support you in whatever way possible. This is Civic Change Makers, and we're reaching you live from Mind Initiative. We're pleased to have you, and we look forward to having you in our next edition. For now, have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.